I'm ready to give a bunch of compliments. Are you all ready for the compliments, or are you maxed out for the day?
No, we'll take it. Bring them. Bring them.
Bring them on. Bring them. We can take all the love.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
take it.
This is the movie I was waiting for a long time as a person from Long Island who's obsessed with everyone being from Long Island, but no one being willing to admit that they're from Long Island. So thank you for doing this. Now, my first question, I don't know who takes this one. Within the first few minutes, we get two or three crane shots or drone shots of Long Beach, my town. Who's responsible for that?
I took like 2 days. I mean, this must have been like 6, 7 years ago, and I went all the way from Long Beach to Montauk, and I kind of just stopped. I stopped in Hempstead, Brentwood, Wyandanch, and then I ended in Montauk. Took about 2 days.
Okay. And then this follow-up question here. One of my favorite shots that we get in this film is the westbound Long Island Railroad shot from Amityville that passes the Sunrise Mall. Whose idea was that one? Was that also yours, Andrew?
Guys, was that Katie's shot? Was it on the train?
Yes.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. Katie, one of our producers, I think, was just randomly coming out to Long Island for an interview and just, took a bunch of video with her phone, I think. But it really gave like this commuter perspective type thing. Is that what you're talking about? Like, was it off the train?
Yes, it's through the train window
Yeah.
when you start talking about De La Soul and their connection to Amityville. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
she showed it to me. I was like, wow, this is like this looks like what people exactly how you would see it when you're on the train. I thought that was really cool.
That shot blows my mind because I spent many a days at Sunrise Mall, and I just read the other day that they're closing it down. So we have captured a moment.
You know what's crazy too to think about? Like you use the best equipment in the world and try to take all day to set up a shot. And sometimes just going by something on your phone and getting it right can be just as good, you know?
Sure. Now, I haven't let Jason talk at all. So, Jason, thank you for your patience. Thank you for doing this. Do you have a highlight related to the making of the Sixth Borough?
I mean, the highlight for me was just talking to all these guys I looked up to. So, like, highlight was definitely meeting Method Man, meeting De La, meeting EPMD. That was like just the biggest highlight because, I grew up listening to those guys and, it took all, everything not for me just to fan out and geek out in front of them.
Sure. A follow-up to that, which isn't really related. Like you, I worked at Viacom, and I remember when I know you worked on Rebel Music,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that was a paperwork nightmare. How did the paperwork of Rebel Music compare to the Sixth Borough?
When you mean paperwork, what are you talking about? Like the clearances and stuff?
Yes, the clearances, the rumors on Rebel Music were pretty rough.
So with Rebel Music, I didn't deal with any paperwork, honestly. I mean, and the good part about that project was that there were no clearances. I mean, the artists, I mean, from my perspective, I mean, this was a little bit different. Again, I wasn't really involved with paperwork with this film either, but it's something you're always aware of because songs get expensive, etc. But you can't really think about that when you're creating. You just got to create, and then you
Sure.
handle that stuff on the weekends.
Now, Julian, do I have it correct? You've been in a business affairs department or two in your day, so you have dealt with some clearances?
Dealt with some clearances. I actually head up business and legal affairs for a record label.
Yeah.
And this is where I was able to shine on the team because I had a lot of favors owed to me and I was able to make a lot of phone calls. At Warner Music alone, I walked upstairs and downstairs like, hey, it's my baby. I need some help. I need this cleared. I need a favor. And people obliged. People really they stepped up and they did the right thing. So no, this was exciting. But yeah, paperwork's real. Clearances, licenses are no joke.
So one of
Julian
the go
also
ahead.
helped. Julian also helped De La get a lot of their stuff from Tommy Boy back. He was an integral part of that, so that helped.
Sure. Now, one of the things I really enjoy about this movie is that you're able to subliminally or put in a lot of people who may not have had time to have an interview with you guys, but they're clearly seen in the footage. So we see leaders of the new school, there's JVC force in the background, etc. Now, I'm curious, the final product, how different is it from what was originally envisioned? In other words, did you have to cut down to half the story?
Julian and I were just talking about this. He had some people reaching out to him like, "Oh, you guys got to make a second one." But I think the film is a good length as it is, and we probably had about 8 or 9 to 10 interviews that we weren't even able to get to.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of stuff left on the cutting room floor. I mean, as I was watching last night, I was like, we could have put a lot of those people who speak, during the end credits somehow into the film. But, I agree with Andrew. The film is the proper length, and, maybe, sometime down the future, there might be a sequel, who knows?
Could R.A. the Rugged Man be part of any of that?
I went to high school with
Yes.
R.A. Man, so that was kind of my intro to the film. I was on tour with him for a little bit back in the Ruckus days, and that's when I first started to meet rap people, which led me to film a lot of their videos, which turned into interviews.
Sure. Another thing that I really enjoyed about the film, sorry to rudely interrupt you there, Andrew, is the talk about Method Man and lacrosse. And I know Flavor Flav is also a big lacrosse guy. Is there a secret lacrosse hip hop community, or is it just those two?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. You guys know?
I don't
They
know.
would have to be from
I
Long
just-
Island or Baltimore, probably, because that's the only really two places that play lacrosse. So you got to ask the rappers from the lacrosse places, right?
That's right.
In the case of Method Man, though, everybody pigeonholes him with Shaolin, with Staten Island, etc. One thing I couldn't figure out, I heard that he only lived in Roosevelt or Hempstead until he was 10, but this film kind of implied that he graduated from high school in Hempstead. Do you know which one it is?
I don't know. I don't know exactly.
I think he
What I
graduated
do
Uniondale
know,
High School. Yeah.
he went back and forth quite a bit. Like he would live in Long Island for a while. He would live in Staten Island for a while.
Oh.
So he kind of jumped around. But I don't remember where he graduated high school from.
I think
So-
Uniondale. I think it was Uniondale.
So if he's a Uniondale person, that means that he overlaps with leaders of the new school.
I think he's younger. Yeah, you don't. It seems like around the same age, but I don't think so. I think they were out by the time he was there.
But then
Yeah.
didn't Chuck D help leaders of the new school get their
Yeah.
record deal?
Correct.
100%. 100%.
And
They're under the
then
umbrella.
another cool thing that in the film you gave a lot of unsung heroes there, do Charlie Murata, Mr. Bill. Are there a lot more unsung heroes that we really don't talk a lot about?
Yeah, I mean, Alvin, right? Alvin Tony. I mean, he was in it a little bit. Who else? I'm like pitching a blank right now. Who else, guys?
Wow, Charlie Murata, this guy really did his homework, man.
No, I mean, listen, we have a great interview that didn't make it. Harry Allen. Harry Allen is definitely an unsung hero. A few different producers that I'm blanking on right now. But listen, earlier you said, the final film, and I kind of cringe at that. I don't think we're done yet. I think we have a few more things to do, and I've gotten some text messages and some emails since last night, so there may be some special appearances that we couldn't get before, but now people, now that they've seen it on the big screen, they're up for it. But yeah, no, it's special.
So Julian, does that mean that you might have to do a lot more clearance paperwork as a result of all these text messages?
I'm ready for the challenge.
Okay. And then selfishly, my last question here, which ties in with the first thing that I asked, and I don't know if Andrew's the only keeper of this information, but either way, it's fine. So being a Long Beach person, I know that Rick Rubin was originally from this area. There's a Public Enemy video that was made here, a Beastie Boys video, MF Doom, Lil Peep. And I've heard some of the third base dancers were from here. Is there anything else hip hop related from Long Beach that the world is not talking about that you know of offhand?
I don't think so. I think you nailed everyone. The third base connection is that Search is from like
Rockaway.
Far Rockaway, which is very close to you guys, right?
Yeah.
So I think we actually interviewed Search. He didn't make the cut. So I think he was spending a lot of time in Long Beach with Doom at the time, who was Zen Love, I believe, right?
Yeah, Zev Love
Yeah.
X.
The Love X.
Yeah. And I think, Long Beach is a crazy place, man, because it's segregated out. It's like far. You're your own little town down there,
Yeah.
And there's a pretty good you got a lot of people from there. You know, that's a good list you guys named there, you know?
And KMD, of course, as a whole. So maybe KMD could be part of that part two if we ever get that, right?
Definitely. Got to get you got to get KMD in there. And then you can maybe, tangentially talk about third base as well. And then if you're talking about KMD, you got to talk about Zev Loveback's transformation into Doom, which is fantastic. So,
And then actually one more bonus question, then I'll let you go here. The special thanks in the movie thank Trey Parker and Matt Stone. How or why were they thanked?
Trey was very instrumental in getting this, our baby from high school to college is what I'll say. Our baby meaning this film. Trey Parker and Matt, they own a company, Park County, that also is part of the company or owns our production company, Sweet Relief. So there was a relationship there, and they came on board and they fully supported us.
I saw them thanked. I saw my friend Regina Feeney thanked. So it's great to see the small world connection happening. But thank you guys for making this film. If there's another cut of it, I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. So congratulations on the Tribeca premiere.
Cool. Thanks, Darren.